Hi, Frank Casal here with the Outsourcing Institute. Welcome to Take 5, where we get to record a live conversation, a live interview with people in the know in the outsourcing space. Today's subject matter expert is Vishal Ahluwalia, who's a longtime member and friend of the Outsourcing Institute. Vishal has been both on the buy side and the sell side, knows the industry. He's currently head of offshoring and outsourcing for the WMA Group over at UBS, and he's joining us here today. Vishal, thank you so much for joining.
Frank, always a pleasure, and I think I'm happy to share my personal views and, keep on learning and trying to participate as much as I can in this initiative and the roadshows. So
well, no, thank you. And you've been very helpful and supportive of our roadshows, and you've been one of the more popular speakers at our roadshows. So I'm hoping to get the essence of that as best we can on a phone discussion. Topic today, Vishal, is vendor selection, and I'm crafting this. We will be crafting this for the service providers on our network, all of which, I was going to say most, all of which are looking to grow their business, do more deals, and get get an entree into more accounts. So I'd like to hone in right up front with what it is you look for when selecting a new vendor, not someone on your existing vendor list, but a new vendor. And I know you're going to say price, but as one of those, but let's take that off the list. Beyond price, because everybody has to have a good price. And quickly, if you will, because I want to squeeze in a couple more questions, how would you summarize what you look for a new service provider that wants to work with UBS?
All right. So, Frank, I think for a new vendor, it's very important for the vendor or the service provider to understand the domain. And as a buyer, I think when I'm meeting them or looking at their portfolio, I have to have a clear-cut case why I want to engage with them when my existing 2 or 3 large strategic vendors who have a large chunk of business. Why should this business go to them? So there has to be a substantial, differential. It could be in productivity or innovation they are bringing in. And for the service provider, it's very important when they come and meet, they have to understand, they have to have a roadmap. Okay, we are going to embark. And here, pardon me for saying this, I'm not talking about 1 or 2 or 10 or 15 FTEs, right? I'm talking of large piece of annuitized deals, which runs into multiple years and which combines either combination of IT or BPO or infrastructure. So these are not small deals, they are large deals where I think the vendor has to understand the business, has to understand what it takes. Risk plays a very critical role. Domain understanding plays a very critical role. Infrastructure. And is the vendor able to supplement right location, in the right location, right time, the right people? I think that's very critical because it's a follow the sun model. So I think these are the points, and I think vendors there are successful in understanding or penetrating the new business. But if they are just coming and just having a meeting and want to invite for a lunch or a dinner, I think that's not going to work. It is beyond that. It is beyond, simple, a quick chat or a meet and greet. It is what exactly the business entertains.
So a tactical question, Vishal. I had a conversation recently, actually 2 separate conversations that were actually, totally opposite reactions. One is another buyer member from our network mentioned that a new provider came courting them. They were invited to present, and they came with a sizable team for that meeting. And in this particular case, the prospective client liked it. They saw it as, okay, this organization has plenty of resources. They made the commitment to bring these people down here. They saw it as positive. Separate conversations, same week, different buyer, similar type meeting. They did not like the fact that they came with, what this fellow talked to as an army. He thought it was too much. He felt it was too imposing. I know this is a tactical question, but when someone comes to present to you in your office, what do you typically like to see? My sense is you don't only want to see the sales rep. You probably like to see a domain expert. Is 2 the right number? Do you like the army? Do you like a smaller group? What works for you?
I think the salespeople in the offshoring and outsourcing world, giving a lot of respect to them, they have matured. I think they are more like solution architects and a combination of both. They are welcome to bring a solution architect if it supplements in showcasing their strengths and capabilities. I'm not against it. But I am definitely against people who come and they do not understand what we do. And I have been to conferences worldwide, and people come and they do not understand the name of the organization I'm working in. And when I was at Credit Suisse, it was a hilarious experience when I was in China, and they told it is, Credit Suisse or it is something else. So I think those kind of experiences are more hilarious. But I think more or less vendors are very capable in understanding what they do, and if they prepare themselves. And when I was in sales way back in till 2002, I think I used to do my homework before I met anybody at any level. I think that pays off. You can laugh. You can always invite a client for a coffee or something, but the client is very smart. They look into what you know about your organization inside, as well as what they know about your organization, what they can do. Because in the end, Frank, just let me finish this. In the end, Frank, meeting a vendor is very easy, or for a vendor to meet you, it's not that difficult. It needs persistence. But I think the repercussions of choosing the right vendor and giving the right project is very critical and important, because it has a long-lasting effect. And it really affects the capability of a buyer, which vendor they are using. The transition has to be correct. The business has to go in the right direction. You have to involve yourself with the right strategy direction of the organization. So these are all internal game plans, which the buyer who makes the decision and has to circulate or has to keep into his agenda when they are selecting vendors.
That's a very good point, Vishal. You remind me of a discussion I had similarly to this a couple of months back, where it was made clear that this particular decision maker liked when a sales organization or an individual came in, solution architect, as you mentioned, what have you, was prepared. In other words, do you know my business? Have you invested the time? Have you done the research? I personally know that you were very successful on the sell side as well, on the service provider side, and you're bringing up a good point that you made sort of do your homework before you showed up, right?
Yep.
Okay, so related to that, let's talk about chemistry. It doesn't come up that often, but I actually see it impacting deals as more and more providers are looking similar, right? Similar business they're in, similar domain expertise, pricing similar, technology similar. I'm starting to hear more and more that the people factor plays. Maybe you like this guy better and you don't like the other one that much, and you're going to have to be working with them for the next 2 or 3 years. Do you agree with that? Is chemistry a factor for you?
No, I don't agree. Gone are the days when a C-level guy or any sourcing guy like me wakes up and he says, I'm from this part of the world, let me open an offshore center there. Those things don't work. They were applicable way back in mid-90s.
Okay.
They don't work. I think business.
So you're less concerned about that. Let me switch over to then mistake. What do you feel are the most common mistakes? And we know that they're being made out there on a daily basis, both on the buy side and sell side. What do you see the most common mistakes that service providers make as they're trying to do more deals?
I think my advice to my friends in the service community is never overcommit. You should always when you're talking to a buyer and when you're talking to internal stakeholders, when you are trying to articulate a project, never overcommit. At the end, we are all human beings. We know it's all business for us, one way or the other. So be realistic in your approach and have that appetite that you can digest and deliver. I think that goes a long way. And second is very critical, because I have seen in very, very big projects, and why a noise or a negative connotation comes because of 1 or 2 bad resources, or maybe some. I think set the expectations correct. Setting the expectation, transparency, and trust, and right governance are the hallmark for any solid relationship to grow. I think I always keep that into mind. I encourage and respect people who follow these principles.
Well, that's great advice. So never overcommit. You mentioned before about doing your homework, do your research, make sure they know your business. This is all great advice. Vishal, I appreciate you joining us on the Take 5 call today, and I look forward to having you participate in future events that we have in the future. Thank you again.
Thank you, Frank, and all the best. Cheers.